What's up, everyone? I am Ernest Dove. This is the New York Mets Dove Report. Let's talk Binghamton Rumble Ponies roster, or as I like to call it, the AAA Mets, but they're stuck in AA. I'm going to get into it. Pretty much all of the arms belong in AAA, but as I've been saying all offseason and spring, the depth is showing throughout the farm system. And with a lot of veterans out there, of course, everyone's saying, well, it sure looks like we need some help with pitching at the major league level. But all jokes aside, not happening. There's also a lot of quality guys still pitching right now in Syracuse. So guys have gotten dropped down. There's also a couple of bats who I feel should have already broke camp in AAA. I'll get into that as well because we're talking about some of the top prospects in the Mets organization. Starting with the arms, we have the guys that you can consider kind of disappointments for not reaching the next step, the next level. One of my favorites for the last 2 years or so, the hard-throwing 95-plus lefty Felipe De La Cruz, who last season it looked like they finally transitioned him full-time to the pen, but it really wasn't working out specifically at the AAA level, where it seems like he was getting hit around a little bit, but also the walk rate was really too high at the AAA level. Here he is now, another season in pro ball, and he's starting down in AA. Same goes for one of my favorite pitchers in the Mets organization, Saul Garcia, who has one of the filthiest sliders in the farm system. I've been saying it like a broken record for years. Unfortunately, pitch command as well is keeping him down. I also heard towards the end of spring, some of the last intra-squad games, again, the command wasn't there, even in the practice games, but that's going to be something. It's the only way he's going to make it to the major leagues, throw more strikes. Now, one guy flipping the script here, Brandon Girton. Now, this is a guy I have not been giving enough credit to. I want to see what Brendan Girton now does at a full season starting in AA. He feels like he could be an innings-eating rotation arm / maybe a floor of a nice, solid swingman. I'm very, very curious about a guy that I have not been giving enough credit to. Going back to the arms and pitch command, Douglas Oriana, who looked pretty filthy even in spring games. It is what it is. Can he throw enough strikes? I'm sure that's why he's sitting all the way down in AA with De La Cruz, with Garcia, 3 AAA arms. Possibly at least one of them should already be in the major leagues with more consistency. Now we get to some of the top prospects. Jonathan Santucci, the lefty. I feel like some of you are like disappointed with him not starting in AAA, but this is something I did expect from him. He did not log a lot or a ton of innings at the AA level last season, and then obviously ad nauseum, Santucci's working on that third pitch, which I believe now is a kick change. How much will he throw that changeup? How much will he mix it in? That's going to determine possibly how quickly he gets to Syracuse. Now, one of the arms that I like as a pen arm participated in the World Baseball Classic, had a couple of good outings in spring. Talking about the reliever Ben Simon. I really do like Ben Simon. He throws 95 to 97. He has a pretty good secondary pitch as well. I want to see him start off hot, possibly likely at the back end of the Rumble Ponies pen. I want to see him get to AAA hopefully sooner rather than later. One of my favorite pitchers, of course, the lefty, Zach Thornton. Again, this was expected that he would have to repeat AA. He missed the second half of last season to an injury that's been fully healed. So he's looking great, looked great in spring. Honestly, what he really needs to do is be himself in AA, get the starts going, keep throwing strikes because that's what he does. When duty calls, you have to expect he's going to end up at AAA before the season ends. Another guy with filthy, filthy stuff, Will Watson, who rankings-wise has been among the top pitching prospects in the Mets farm system. I'm still kind of curious about his K rate. I want to see what he does now back at the AA level, get a handful of starts here. How many walks will he have? How many innings will he pitch? Can he be a 5 to 6 inning guy? Honestly, respectfully, I need Will Watson to prove he can go 5, 6 innings consistently. One of the last guy in the pen, the lefty, Jeffrey Yan, the star of the show, the showmanship on the mound with the jumping and leaping. Kind of interesting that he fell all the way to Double A. My understanding, it did look like he was slated for Triple A, ended up being one of those 11th hour guys falling down to Double A. But again, health and timing, health and timing. That's going to determine possibly not even if, but when Yan shows up in AAA, even if he may end up in the majors, to be honest, because again, lefty, that always helps. Rounding it off with the bats, obviously one of my favorites, Chris Suero, who I did understand was going to go ahead and break camp down in AA. A lot of fans, of course, wanted him in AAA to get ready for the major leagues, but there was been some concerns. The higher K rate last year as he produced more power. So now he's got to balance out the new power he's developed, but lower the K rate. Defensively, I still love his catching ability, but my understanding since spring and now for the season, he's probably still going to play a lot of left field, maybe even get squeezed into first base if they need him. So if he's still playing 2 to 3 positions, how will that affect or actually help Chris Suero to AAA and hopefully to Queens? Two guys that I kind of like. Jacob Reimer, he's the guy, the hitting lab guru guy who had a fantastic season last year. I would have thought he would break camp in AAA. Obviously, amongst other things, they're giving Ryan Clifford the shot that he deserved, which isn't going super well right now with the K rate for Ryan Clifford at the AAA level. But I expect Jacob Reimer, hopefully, to continue to hit a lot at the AA level. I believe he's better than the level. He'll be moving up soon enough. Then there's Marco Vargas. He's kind of the younger guy, still young, but he's one of the IFA kids. Got him in the David Robertson deal, which seems like years ago. He's a guy with really, really solid plate discipline, above average middle infield glove, not a lot of power. He's not a big kid. I want to see how he develops with the bat. Can he make enough contact? He's like a different version of a Nick Morabito to me as an infielder. Can he hit enough, maybe doubles and scratch off any home runs now and then to show his worth? The last remaining outfielders, some of the top prospects, A.J. Ewing, of course. Dove, why the heck is he in AA? Good question. I guess it's one of the veteran things with Morabito's on the 40-man. Then you have Melendez and Pache who are getting the slots in Syracuse. I don't know if it necessarily means they're blocking A.J. Ewing on any level, but they probably want those guys to be ready in case duty calls in Queens. But A.J. Ewing is built. He's ready for a fantastic season. Probably going to be one of the best hitters in the Eastern League by far. So I'm curious how soon they send him up to Syracuse. Also, there's Eli Serrano. A lot of you guys have questions and concerns still about Eli Serrano's hit tool overall. Is he a potential floor of a fourth outfielder who's going to hit in the low 200s and hit bombs? And will he hit lefties enough to be a major league consistent active roster guy? Maybe this is the year that Eli Serrano is going to put it all together, because when he makes contact, he has one of the highest, hardest exit velo rates and barrel rates in the Mets farm system. Will this finally be the year for Eli Serrano III? Finally, my guy, I just want to bring him up, DeAndre Smith, the Swiss Army knife of the Mets farm system. He's played from 4 to 6 different positions around the infield and outfield. Here he is now playing a full season in AA. He's now repeating AA. But again, regardless, infield, outfield, Syracuse is full of the older guys that they may need immediately call-ups, DFAs, call-ups. So DeAndre Smith gets another crack, but he's coming off the best pro season of his career. So let's see if he can continue to build on that and earn his way to Syracuse. Thank you guys so much. Hopefully I'll make some videos for the Brooklyn Cyclones and the St. Lucie Mets rosters. Be on the lookout for that. And also be on the lookout for some player interviews. I'm about to start setting those up. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you guys in